Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Before we start, quick disclaimer. Anything we discuss on this video is just for educational purpose, not financial advice. Anyways guys, amazing day today. Finally, after slow Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday was okay, but today we finally got a trend day in a lot of names. A lot to learn today. Sector analysis, which sectors were strong, which sectors were weak. So very important lesson there today. We will talk about how we did that and how we shorted the mark some of those sectors in the morning to make money. Most of our traders were done in the first half an hour, first 45 minutes. And then we'll talk about some daily breakouts, the swing setups, the daily charts, successful charts like SOFI, CAVA, all those swing setups that I've been giving on X. So we'll discuss those, and we'll also look at our midday Bitcoin breakout that paid up handsomely for everyone in the community. And of course, we'll discuss all of the other trades. Before we start, quick introduction to anybody who's new to our X accounts, new to our YouTube, or it's a new to so anybody who's new to our community or our X accounts or YouTube, all these recaps and all these teachings is anything that I discuss on my Twitter or mostly from our community or from our YouTube. Right. So what we do, so we trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud System and various concepts around that I've been teaching for many years freely. Thousands of traders use this trading system and use my teachings of trading, day trading, swing trading, investing over the years and help change many lives. So we do not trade random. We always trade based upon specific criteria, and we do not trade every random setups. System is how you trade, setup is what you trade. So how do we find those setups? We find these setups by preparing the pre-market every day. So I make this live pre-market plan every day. I make this plan based upon the news, index stocks, earnings, upgrades, downgrades. Today there was just a little too much happening. Today there were a lot of upgrades and downgrades. So I just made a high-level game plan on a few names that I liked, because there was just crazy amount of plays today. So we will cover that. We will talk about that. Those setups for sure. So in addition to that, we also provide something called day 2, day 3 repeatable strategy. The day 2, day 3 strategy is a strategy that I invented, and I did a free webinar on that as well. We trade this strategy every day. There were some nice setups on that. We will discuss that. We also provide the traders levels for futures, so they can trade futures in the community based upon the levels and using the Ripster EMA Cloud system. We also provide the levels for crypto stocks, coin, MSTR. You can trade those stocks based upon the levels we provide, and Ripster EMA Cloud system as well. And also we trade SPY, QQQ, IWM, all the indices, ETFs every day. So everything is provided to our community members in the pre-market. We also trade low floats. We have a low float channel. We trade IPOs, everything which we make a plan in the pre-market. I'm usually on the voice first few hours of the market open, guiding the traders through the initial move. And what are good setups, what too long, where too long, what is the risk, what is the stop, and overall market guidance so that my traders in the community are making the right decisions and they're choosing the right opportunities and keeping their losers small and winners big. So that's what we do. We do have a lot of tools in our community. We have 3-4 option flow scanners. We have stock scanners. We have breaking news alerts. We have audio news squawk. We have halt, unhalt. We have Ripster EMA Cloud alerts. We have order flow alerts. So we have stock scanner, audio stock alerts. We have tools which are over $500, $600 a month, which is freely provided in our community. Our community is one of the largest trading communities online, not an alert service, but an educational community which works on a fixed and tested system. So anyways, so that being said, I will show you my timestamp guidance on all the plays we did in the community. Thousands of traders are on our trading floor all day, sharing ideas, trading, and helping each other. So let's start with the first recap. So there is actually so much to cover today, so I have to go a little fast, so bear with me. So the first thing I want to discuss is the market analysis. So what is a market analysis? Market analysis is nothing but taking a look what is strong, what sector is strong and what sector is weak, so that you can make right decisions. So today SPY was strong, but QQQ was weaker than SPY. Right, so this is something I teach in my webinars. To build these what we call it, this sector analysis. You can do a sector analysis by using line charts. You can do sector analysis by using FinViz. So the FinViz will also help you understand what sectors are strong, what sectors are weak. There are various ways you can do that. With looking at different ETFs. Let's go here. We can take a look. You can see that what index were strong. You can clearly see that um, that the strongest sectors were Dow's, and QQQ was definitely weaker because at the end of the day, everything became strong. But when the market started this morning, the QQQ was the weakest, and I'll show you in a minute how we made money on that. SPY was not as weak, and now Dow Jones, which is DIA, that was the strong right out of the gate. You need to know what are the stocks in the Dow Jones. I've been teaching that on Twitter for many years. You need to know which are your stocks, and we'll take a look at those. McDonald's, we had McDonald's on our watch list. We had some other stocks which are on our watch list, which ran today. Triple M, which is a breakout. So Dow Jones was strong. IWM was also strong right out of the gate. We provided those levels for IWM, so traders could long that. So you can see that IWMs were long, but look at this NASDAQ. So money was flowing out of the NASDAQ, and we'll talk about it, why it was. I'll explain to you in a minute. And the money was flowing into this Dow Jones dividend names. SPY became stronger later because SPY and QQQ overlap, but the banks were strong, so that helped it. But individual sectors, like what sectors? Like cloud sector. If you look at the stocks which are part of the look at the cybersecurity sector. So what did the cybersecurity sector did? So cybersecurity sector, it's called CIBR. So you see that it's the lowest. So the cybersecurity was selling off. You see CIBR, cloud stocks, they were also selling off. So when cybersecurity sectors are selling off, you can see that a Zscaler was short all day. You can see PANW was a short all day. MTF cloud breakout shorted, 20 MTF shorted, hitting the lower MTFs. 1 hour MTF short, hitting the 20 MTFs. So you see that, the sector analysis will tell you which stocks are strong, which are weak. CrowdStrike was a MTF short from the MTF to the MTF magnet. So you see that all this sector analysis is a big part of what you're trying to do. You need to identify that which sector is strong, which sector is really doing good. If you look at some cloud stocks, look at MDB, software stocks, they were weak, so they were selling off. So there's an ETF CLOU, you can use that to track the cloud stocks. There's an ETF CIBR, you can use that to track the cybersecurity sectors. So find the weakest sector and short the weakest stock. I have been teaching this for a long time. So short the weakest stock in the weakest sector, long the strongest stock in the strongest sector. Right? So now that I showed you which sector was weak and individual sectors were weak, and the indices, which indices was weak, NASDAQ was a little weak. Now let's take a look how we made money on this analysis, right? Of course, a lot of traders in the community were short on the cybersecurity sector, and they made good profits with shorting those. A lot of traders in the community were short on software stocks. Finding those high probability A+ setup, and Ripster Clouds and MTF cloud system gives you that high confidence to trade those setups. So always do your market analysis. Hopefully this helped you guys. All right, so let's look at quickly. So I'm going to go a little fast, spend some time on that market analysis here. So what we were doing is, so let's look at QQQ. I'm not going to focus on a SPY, but I'm going to focus on NASDAQ. So NASDAQ out of the gate was a short. If you look here, not going to spend too much time on VIX. I teach you guys that every day, but QQQ was short. Why was QQQ short? Because NVIDIA was heavy. And I already told you that the cybersecurity and the cloud software stocks were weak. They were taking it down. And then we'll talk about Netflix and all those short. So QQQ short, right out of the gate, I told the traders short on profit taking, QQQ heavy, short, QQQ short, NVIDIA short, and take the short all the way down, NVIDIA target to the MTF. You can see the timestamp guidance. We shorted it, QQQ, step by step, told the traders to short the QQQ. And it was all in our pre-market planning, how we going to trade the market, SPY QQQ. We were watching the VIX. We had a plan of to what levels to watch. So we had a plan, and I was on the voice, and I told the traders to short it. And if you look at it, QQQ options really worked out pretty nicely, because we are not like an alert service. I show the traders things real time. What I teach, I show them real time and how the things are moving. Look at this 555 puts. They went from $1.20 all the way to $3, 200%, right? You're trading with So you're trading with your $1,000, you're making $2,000 to $500, and you're done. You're done in the morning, right? So you see that short, and let's talk about NVIDIA short. Same thing there, NVIDIA short. NVIDIA short, so far profit taking, short it, do not long it. Short target 162.50. What is the short target? 162.50. This is my target, and we hit that target. I still told the traders do not long it, it's bear flagging. Then it broke the bear flag and hit the 160.140. Again, you can trade leverage ETF, you can trade NVDS, the leverage ETF long. You buy 1,000 shares, at 1355 or 2,000 shares, you make few $100s. They're risking couple $100 and making $1,000. That was the kind of trade. Or you buy the puts on NVIDIA. So whatever you do, this was the trend we were looking for, and it was a beautiful trend this morning. Just a beautiful trend on QQQ short, NVIDIA short. You can look at some NVIDIA puts if you want to take a look at that. At the morning, they ran from 65 cents to $1.40, 100% on those on 162.5 puts, right? But you have to be fast about them, and your target is approaching 162.50 MTF. You have to cover, and then NVIDIA did the 512 calls. You exit the shorts, made a neutral cup and handle. You can long it, take it back, but this is how you do it with the system. This is how you make consistent money. All right, so now we looked at our NVIDIA short. So let's look at some of our other plays as well, right? So what were some other plays? We had Meta, and let's look at Meta. Meta had a bad news right here. You can see that Meta had a news. So let's look at Meta. If the QQQ is short, Meta is short. You take the short, MTF breaks, take it all the way down, and traders were just literally killing it. What else? The semiconductors are selling off. I told the traders to short, you short the Taiwan semi, short it, make the money on the downside. AVGO, short it, make the money on the downside. When so many tickers, you can see that AVGO, Taiwan semi, everything is on our plan. The traders are already shorting those names, Taiwan semi, AVGO. So the traders are already doing it in the community. I don't even need to tell them, because they are all, fading with the market. You need to understand the market analysis, the market sector, and you need to fade those names, even if you're trading Meta. So many traders traded the Meta short and Netflix short. Let's take a look at Netflix. So Netflix was another short from the MTF. How many times the MTF cloud has given you a trade on that? Right? And Netflix gave a short trade once, short trade twice, from the top to the bottom, all the way down. Beautiful short on Netflix. Because when you know that QQQ is a short and we are shorting QQQs, you know that it's all bearish. The NASDAQ is bearish. There's no business buying. Not even a single person in my community was buying these tech names, the bearish names long, because we know that the sector is weak and we are not going to buy it. We bought on the calls. Traders did the call, like a Google call was amazing. A lot of traders, when we got the setup, we longed it, but not at the open. Right? So Google gave the call today. The traders on our trading floor alerted the calls. Dheer alerted the calls. He took the calls. He took all the way the calls to the 178. Beautiful guidance there, right? SK bought the Google calls. So you see that in the morning we were not doing it. Morning we were shorting, but in the middle of the day we found those calls and we traded those calls, right? So just wanted to show you how the first half an hour you can done with the market. You do your market analysis, you buy the puts on the bearish sectors, and then you wrap up for the day. Now let's look at some of the other plays. All right, so let's look at Apple. So Apple was relative strength, right? We know that there's some relative strength. Apple is part of S&P as well as part of QQQs. So what was the plan on Apple? Let's go back to our game plan. Let's look at what was the plan on Apple. So Apple was, let's look at our levels on Apple here. Let's take a look. The Apple levels were 210 resistance, 210.65 resistance. So as soon as I saw that everything else is selling off, but Apple is showing me strength, that's why I told the traders Apple is versus 210, strong long. The breakout is at 211. So that's a setup. So you put your stops at 210, breakouts at 211, and as we started to break out, we moved the stops up. Then as we moved the stops to 212, the Apple ran for us to 213. From 210.50 it ran to 213.50, almost $3, almost $3. Beautiful move. If you were trading 212 and a half calls, those calls ran from 70 cents all the way to $1.50, 100% trade there. So that was a beautiful trade. Clear levels. You can see that why I decided to tell my traders to long it versus 210. There's also an MTF bounce, and I can see that there's a pre-market breakout. So beautiful trade on Apple. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's look at Tesla. So Tesla was amazing today. It was a green trade for us in the morning, but we did stop out on our day trades middle of the day. But but it came back and came a beautiful curl setup as well. So let's look at Tesla. Let's look at our game plan on Tesla and let's see what was the plan here. So Tesla, Grok for launch, Grok to be available in the cars, waiting for approval in San Francisco for robotaxis, shareholders annual meeting. So bullish bias to long versus 299. That was the plan. MTF trade setup. You see that? MTF trade setup. So all the planning is given to the traders and community, and it's just like how I teach you on X. You can literally know what I'm going to do. So you can take the plan and you can trade it on your. Anyways, as soon as the market order opened, I told the traders long versus 300, target is 308, 3010. The amateur move, right? You have to be very fast. Look, I went right at the open. I told them to long. We went up pretty fast. We went 300 all the way to 308. Then we pulled back. You do not add here. You do not add here. You do not add. You wait for the pullback. So the pullback level again, it was right there. You can draw your Fibonacci levels around that 300 or 250, 302, 302, was the two levels that I gave the traders around this area. And I told them, put your stops at 302 and you can add a position, right? And we held the 302, we bounced from the 302 and we did the 512 curls, another green trade from that 303 back to 306. So two entries, open and the curls both green. Then Tesla broke down on the 512. We exited. It faded to 34.50. Then came the midday repeatable long setup, and that one was pretty epic. 512 curls right here, right here, right here. You take the 512 curls. My target was 310. I typed there. I told the traders to swing it, and it's hitting 312 now. So if you took that 302 curl versus 301s, your calls went almost 200%. Let's take a look at 305 calls. You can see the beautiful curl. You see the curl on Tesla and you look at the curl on Tesla options, right? Similarly, the Tesla options following the Ripster EMA clouds, you can see the beautiful move from $3 all the way $6, 100% trade on Tesla. Beautiful all day, no BS, no hindsight, step-by-step guidance, showing you the power of the system. That's how the traders are changing their lives with the system, not without the system. Long here, long here, long here. 3 longs on Tesla today, morning, 512 calls, and midday, end of the day call setup. Beautiful trade, 34.50 bounce. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to look at is Costco. So let's see what was Costco doing here. So Costco was a short for us today. Let's take a look. So Costco, what was the game plan? Let's go to our game plan on Costco. The game plan on Costco was short under 985, long over it. June sales were up by 6%. So as soon as the MTF breaks, you short it right away. You short it right away. You do not look back. And you see that at 943, we were already faded 8 points. I told them, the traders, the target is yesterday lows. So you short at 984, 982s, and the yesterday lows was 782. We hit the target. We hit the target at 10 a.m. That's where you cover your short. Costco bounced all day fade, but this was your main trade. Beautiful winner, Costco. All right, so let's look at the next one. The next one we're going to look at is MP. So what was MP? So MP was on our plan because it was gapping up because of that news on rare earth, whatever, Department of Defense, right? Whenever they talk about rare earth, MP starts to go. So the plan was to trade versus 50, extended bullish bias, under 46 is a gap and crap. So that was the plan. So it never pushed over 50. So there was no reason to be long on MP. Right? It never really pushed over 50. So I told the traders gap crap versus 48, right? So it never pushed over 48. You buy the puts, rejected 48 and faded to the 42. So you could make $5 profit, risking what? You're risking $1, risking the 48 stops. And as it started to work, you move your stops down to 47 and it hit the target. You short here, this area, stops right here, and you know it faded. Beautiful winner, gap and crab, short setup on MP. So next one we're looking at here is ADSK. So what was ADSK? So why was ADSK short today? So let's take a look. So ADSK was there was a news on ADSK. So the news on ADSK was ADSK is buying a different company. Remember, whenever some company is buying a different company and it spends a lot of dollars or shareholder equity, it's always a little bearish for that company, right? So the plan on ADSK, if 300 fails, short it. If 300 fails, short it. Right out of the gate, 300 failed, you shorted, MTF short, take it all the way down on ADSK 300 for short. I told the traders to short in the morning, cover the short. 280 was our final target. We did not hit the completely target, but we did hit 281 from 294 to 290.81. Beautiful trade if you traded the options. And let's take a look at the options. If we look at 285 puts, let's see they're illiquid. So this illiquid, it's not that liquid. So shares were better to trade on these ADSK, very illiquid options, because let's take a look here. Let's see if they do have weekly. So let's take a look here at 290, see how that moved. Yeah, so 290 had some volume, very low volume, but that went from like $1 to $6. It was a 400-500% trade, but you have to try to fill in those options. But shares are much better short. Anyways, repeatable setup, no hindsight, no BS, clean plan in the pre-market. Short versus 300, short versus MTF, high probability short. You have a 300, you have an MTF, gives you beautiful trade. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to look at is Delta Airline. So what was happening with Delta? So Delta Airline today, we tried to short it first, but it swiped it, and I told it's not a short, it's a curl, 512 curl versus 56. You see that? Let's look at the pre-market planning on Delta Airline. So let's go there. So Delta Airline beat expectations, issues EPS guidance in line, right? So this was the plan, cautious under 56.50, only long 512. So I gave the plan to long the 512 in the pre-market only. So you see the 512 curl, you take the curls, put your stops at 56. And we were looking for the 58 breakout. You could make like $1.50 here, but we never broke out. Double top, you get out here. So that was Delta Airline. Let's look at the next one. So the next one we're going to look at is PLTR. So what was PLTR doing? We were initially long on PLTR. So we were long on PLTR, but as soon as it broke 512, we exited it. I told the traders it's a 512 short or 34.50 short. You short it here, 143, take it all the way to the MTF. It broke the bear flag. I gave the target of MTF. I gave the stops at 141.80. We hit our target. Beautiful $3 fade on PLTR. Long loser, short winner. All right, let's look at some of our day two setups. Our top two day two setups today was APP and FUTU. Why was that? Why do I give these setups as a top day two setup? So let's take a look here. So if you go to my pre-market planning on my day two setups, you will see that FUTU and APP are on the top. So this is the planning I gave to everyone to trade. And APP, right away, APP broke down. You take it short, fade it all the way down. That was a $20 fade. FUTU, you short it. You see this, short it at 10 a.m., take it all the way down, under the clouds, gap fill short. So these were our successful shorts on day two. APP, beautiful setup, and next one was FUTU. Day two, gap and crap, right? I told the traders, gap and crap, gap and crap. So you see that, how you trade the day two setups. So the JP Morgan was another one. So JP Morgan was pushing everything today. It was a day three setup. Why was it a day three setup? It sold off a lot day before yesterday. It bounced from 20 EMA. If you remember, we shorted JP Morgan. If you go back and see my guidance from the day before yesterday, we were short on JP Morgan. Bounced from rips to 25 MTF, and then today it curled over 34.50, and then it pushed over 1 hour MTF all day long. The CEO was up. It really helped the market as well. Beautiful trade. I'm very proud of my traders in the community who were trading JPM Oregon all day long. Beautiful trade. Let's go to the next one. There were many other trades as well. I just want to talk about Domino Pizza, McDonald's. There was just too many plays today. You could just pick anything and do good. So what was Domino's and McDonald? Domino's and McDonald were upgrades by Morgan Stanley, Goldman, MACD by Goldman. Whenever there's an upgrade, you always watch it. MACD was also part of Dow Jones. So Dow Jones was strong, so it helped MACD, and it was also a MTF magnet setup, right? You see that from one MTF to the other MTF, almost hit that MTF magnet. So that was a beautiful. I just want to look at one setup which was really good that I gave in the pre-market. It is called Triple M. So yesterday one of our members told me that, hey Rip, look at Triple M, it's setting out of a weekly breakout. So I told the traders it's a weekly breakout setup, follow the cloud rules. So let's see how that panned out. You see this weekly breakout? These are the weekly charts. So you have to analyze them before they move. And if you look at the move on Triple M intraday, you see that it ran all the way on Triple M ran all the way in the morning, told the traders. I did send out that alert on Triple M as well. Weekly breakout right at the morning. I sent out the alert. You take it long, take the weekly breakout all the way to 159. Beautiful long trade, guys. Beautiful long trade. This is the breakout I'm talking about. This is how you analyze the charts. I might do a webinar on these weekly, daily breakouts for the swing and day traders soon. All right, so let's talk about a big trade today. So big trade, this was Bitcoin. So let's see what's about the Bitcoin. So again, you have to analyze your charts, guys. So I've been talking about Bitcoin from a long time. You see that this was 90,000 when it was breaking the flag. You have to analyze this before, right? So I gave the traders, my followers, a breakout at 90,000. And here you go, you see the breakout going to 99,000, right? So easy, so easy. You have the setup, you have the risk. You buy the Bitcoin or the leverage or the ETFs or whatever you want to trade the Bitcoin with. You make that's how you make money. It's that simple. You need to learn the setup. So anyways, that was many months ago, last year. But let me show you the complete journey. When Bitcoin actually started to reverse, if you guys remember, Bitcoin was back at Bitcoin was back at $30,000. Couple of years ago, right? So I started with this plan. I told the traders we are on the weekly is trying to break out. Weekly is trying to break out. So as an investor, long-term investor, swing trader, you take this long, put your risk under the previous weekly candles. So follow along and see what happens, right? So that's the breakout. We started to push over that breakout. Here you go. Let's look what happens. Keep pushing 34,000, and soon enough we are at 43,000, and we are flagging at 43,000, and then we are breaking that 43 blackout. You see that flag breakout? This was in my community, and then we are pushing towards 48 and 50,000, and then we hit our 50,000 target there on Bitcoin. Then we break out of 50,000. I talk about this leverage Bitcoin ETFs that you can trade, and here's our 51,000. Keep following, and it's no BS, no hindsight, everything time stamped, and there comes our 54,000. Remember, we started from 32,000, and here we are at 62,000. Another breakout, then 60. Everything step by step. There's another 62,000, and then we are breaking towards 70,000 breakout. You can see there, right? This is how we were trading the coin MSTR back in the day. Then came another flag. It went sideways after hitting 70,000, and then came another flag. Now here is that flag breaking out. Remember, go up, go sideways, create a flag, and then you see flag and another smaller flag on top of it, and then that flag breaks out, right? So the journey continues, and then we see how the breakout happens, and when we hit 80,000, see carefully, step by step, and then I talk about this 90,000 flag, and then we see we break out from that 90,000 flag. So that was history, right? So what did I say today? This morning, I posted that Bitcoin testing huge breakout. You see carefully, right? 112,000. Draw what makes sense to you. Do not draw textbook. So that's why I told the traders you can trade IBT, you can trade the leverage ETF. And if you look, what happens now is the breakout, right? We started right here 112, we hit 117,000. And with that, you make money. How do you make money? You trade the Bitcoin names. You trade coin. So coin, what was coin? So coin was the call right here, the long on the coin. I had given 385 target on the traders to the coin, and you could trade MSTR. That was a beautiful call with that. But I told the traders to trade IBIT. Trade IBIT. Because this was a breakout right here. When we found the breakout at under 64, we ran all the way to 64.80, and if you're swinging it, which most of traders in my community are, we hit 66.20, right? Just from analyzing these daily and weekly charts, guys. That's how you analyze. That's how you do it. I have been doing for years. I've been showing you guys from years. This is how you can make consistent profits in the market. Analyzing your daily, weekly charts. All right, so let's look at some of our swing winners here. A lot of my followers been asking me to talk about some of my swing ideas that I have been giving recently. So let's take a starter with SOFI. So SOFI, the real swing idea or the investment idea that started in last year, October 15th, because we were consolidating under this range. This was a reversal. I gave the multi-month reversal idea at $10 to everyone because it's a waste of time for these investors for many years who are back holding. This is the time when it starts to break out. So at that time, it was good. But anyways, last month I gave, so we already got that multi-year base breakout to the pivot, pulls back, setting up for another breakout. We were trading at 17 bucks at that time. So I said, most bullish monthly chart. I have not seen more bullish monthly chart, so it's going to pay. So what happens next? We break out. I gave the target of 20 on the swing trades. We break out further. We hold 20, we see higher. So you see we hit 21. So you see that how the breakout was right here and we push. You could make decent amount of money on your options or your shares trading this breakout setup, right? So that was SOFI. So what was CAVA? So CAVA was another swing trade that I gave back. So CAVA swing trade, risk 78. Once we've reclaimed 50 MTF clouds, we're gonna push higher. So that was the setup. It was a weekly chart setup. It was trading at 82 at that time, 83, and now it's trading at 91, closer to the 92. It actually hit this resistance level. So you see that you're again doing a 10% swing in less than a month. How are you doing it? You are analyzing the daily charts. You are analyzing the charts to find those setups. Draw your support and resistance. Use Ripster MTF cloud labels. Look, everything was mostly bearish, but 1 hour started to turn bullish. You see here, that's when we started the swing. My swing idea started, and then now everything is bullish except the weekly 3450, which soon will be bullish the way it's going. So that's how it is done, guys. That's how you analyze your daily, weekly charts to find out your swing setups so you can make money in this market. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.